Welcome back everybody, my name is Max Rank and this is Amiens. So today we find ourselves in France, the Battle of Amiens, also known as the Third Battle of Picardy. On the 8th of August 1918 was the opening phase of the Allied offensive, later known as the 100 Days Offensive, that ultimately led to the end of the First World War. Allied forces advanced over 7 miles on the first day, and it was one of the greatest advances of the war, with Henry Rawlinson's British Fourth Army playing the decisive role. The battle is also notable for its effects on both sides' morale and the large number of surrendering German forces. This led Erich Ludendorff to describe the first day of the battle as the Black Day of the German army. Amiens was one of the first major battles involving armoured warfare and marked the end of trench warfare on the Western Front, fighting becoming mobile once again until the armistice was signed on the 11th of November 1918. The German defensive positions at Amiens were guarded by 20,000 men. They were outnumbered 6-1 by advancing Allied forces. The British, well assisted by Australian and Canadian divisions, employed some 400 tanks in the attack, along with over 2,000 artillery pieces and 800 aircraft. The Germans suffered 27,000 casualties on the opening day of the offensive, with 12,000 of these men surrendering to the British and Australian forces. With desertion and low morale rife within the German ranks, this battle really was the final nail in the German coffin. The opening run routes, as usual, are listed on the map. There are others of sorts, but these are the typical routes people will run off the initial flag cap. Starting on the British side, the first is a straight shot through the buildings and onto Edward. You can go around the buildings to the north, but this burns time and there's no point to that. The second route is through the buildings, popping you out right in front of Duff, and the third is across the train tracks, making the cheeky push straight to Butter. Over to the sausage side, or Germans if you prefer, and the first route is down the road and onto Butter. The second route is through the buildings that pops you out in front of the Charlie flag. Now it's worth noting that you can blast through the first building using the second run route and turn left in the alley. This will also bring you out of Butter, but again there's no real advantage to it and it just burns a lot of time. The third and final route is the arrow indicated at the top of the map diagram, and this is the cheeky super flank route. This won't help you cap any flags, but you can let you get set up to get some early kills from the advancing British team. And now for the real juice, tips and tactics. Let's start on the sausage side, as that's where we left off. Using the Butter run route, I like to head straight down the road, heading towards Duff after the Butter capture. There's a broken down building on the left which overlooks the Duff flag on the bridge. If you're set up in this building, you'll get a perfect sight line down the road and across the bridge, and you can rack up 5 to 10 kills here, no worries. Let the team push onto Duff whilst you make a left turn and head down across the tracks and onto Edward. Capping this flag early can force the British team into turning their attention away from the bridge cap to points Duff and Charlie, and enables your team to cap them. The second sausage run route on the Charlie flag is more dangerous, and more often than not you will find yourself face to face with a tank. Don't go in the house in the town square. You're an easy target for a tank to just shell the building, and a British team will be looking towards the house. Instead, enter the building to the right of the town square and pick your enemies off as they head down the street. Pay close attention to your rear, as a good enemy team will be flanking down the street behind you. To cap Charlie, you have to be on either side of the bridge, on the train tracks, or on the bridge itself. I don't use this route early in the game, but this building can be a great advantage once the game is really underway. The third tactic is to avoid capping your home flag and run straight down over the train tracks as indicated on the map. It's possible to get nearly all the way around the back of the enemy and catch them as they exit the Edward flag. Works great if your whole squad does this, but I'd avoid this tactic as a solo player unless you're you're full on super beast and you think you can take down a third of the enemy team on your own. And now for the Brits, and I personally think this is the better spawn, but maybe I'm a little biased. The very top opening run route to the north of Edward is really only used when I find myself on a team getting pushed back onto my home flag. It gives you a long sight line if you pitch up by the wall next to the small courtyard, but you can be easily removed from here by a tank or constant nade spam. I like the Edward direct route after capping the flag. Don't follow the team through the archway. Instead, head through the house on the left and turn right onto the road facing the tram in the middle of the street. From this position you can see all the way down onto Duff and the archway in front of the tram and the road behind it. I can't tell you the number of people I have caught coming through the archway focused solely on killing my teammates in the back, only to find themselves immediately dead as I shoot them in the back instead. Don't go through the arch, instead head down the street and turn right onto the Charlie flag. Be aware that any players doing what I suggested earlier from the sausage side will be directly in front of you, so be ready. Move down the road towards Charlie, but take the alley on the left. Be extremely cautious here, as smart members of the enemy team will be here. If you make it round the corner, then head up the rubble on the left and stab behind the wall. This gives you a perfect sight line across Charlie and the building above it, where the Germans will be holding hands and arguing over who's to get one of the 3 windows. It also gives you a sight line down towards Apples and all the way down to Duff. This is a great pitch up point, just don't stay here too long. The third route across the tracks is the cheeky super aggressive pass to take. If you really want this to work, then avoid capping Freddy and just haul ass across the tracks and up the street towards Butter. If you can make it across the street before the enemy team start heading down, then great. Make a quick right turn up the alley and through the back door of the house, and you will massacre the enemy team while they're still capping Butter. Again, this will only work with a squad, but it's the big brass balls move and can be super rewarding. The capture points for the flags are all the same, with the exception of the direction you need to be looking and the approach. On the screen you can see the capture point I like to use for Butter, and the green arrow indicates the approach I would use playing on the British team. Checking the flag out before hopping on it is critical, and leaving yourself space to move around is also key. Don't camp in the corner. Capping Charlie is only possible from either side of the bridge or on the bridge, and this of course is super dangerous. I like to approach the alleyway indicated by the arrow, as I find I can get myself out of trouble faster than I got into it, and just like a French tank, being able to go faster backwards than it actually does forwards. Capturing Duff is equally as dangerous as Charlie, and the capture points are the same. The arrows indicate my approach routes, but to be honest I very rarely attempt to capture this point. Edwards is a tricky one, however. Depending on where you are on the map and how the game is playing out, can be relatively easy to capture if you're playing as assault. I like to blow the front of the houses out on either side of the capture point and pitch up in the building. This gives me sight lines from either end of the alleyway and protects me from the endless grenade spam as the enemy team try to pry you off the objective. If you're playing a scout like myself, then I would certainly wait for my team to catch up before capping, and then stand at one end of the alleyway or the other, depending on which side you're playing on. It's worth noting that the alleyway facing Freddy is easy to stand at, as you don't have the second alleyway to your right like at the other end. Home flag caps I don't go over, as if you've been pushed back this far then it's all over for you and your team. That being said, if you do find yourself pushed all the way back into your own spawn, and especially on this map, flank to the right from both Apples or Freddy, and you'll at least pick up some cheeky side kills or rear kills from your over enthusiastic enemy. So that's my tactics for playing Amiens. Lots of information, I know. This map can get really chaotic at times, and I've tried to share as much as I can without making a 4-hour video. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you'd like to see other map guides, then please check out the links below or hit the thumbnails. If you want to stay up to date on all of my content, then please subscribe. And for all the latest news about my channel and Battlefield, follow me on Facebook, Twitter or Google+, and don't forget to check out my live stream every Wednesday at 7 PM. That's Central Time in the US, and Saturdays 10 AM Central Time in the US, plus 6 hours for London. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Until the next time, my name is Max Rank, and I'll catch you later.